Hello everyone, welcome back to SAP Technomania. You are already in the sixth part of the this particular playlist. In this video, we will deep dive into the manifest.json file. Whether you are a developer who started learning the SAP Fiori element, or you are an experienced guy who want to understand each and every section or each and every line of this particular manifest.json file, then you are at the right place. We will go through each and every sections starting from the SAP app. Then we will start understand the SAP UI and UI5 section, and at last we will understand the SAP Fiori Elements setting available in this particular app descriptor file. So without that wasting the time, just grab a cup of coffee and master this particular configuration file, so you will feel very confident whenever you will work in your project. Before going further, I just want to explain JSON file, how JSON file look like. First, we will see everywhere the curly braces. Each curly braces represent an JSON object. Within the JSON object, we will be having the key value pair. Key will be in the string format. Values can be either it can be string, number, boolean, array, or any other object. For example, you can see this is the one object which is the main object, which we have the version is a key and the value we have 1.65. And another key value pair we have the SAP app and the value we have another object. So you can see the value can have another object. This object again have the key value pairs. So this is something like object inside the object. Each key value pair separated by the comma and keys and values encoded by the double quote. You can see. So this is how our JSON file look like. This is automatically generated manifest.json file in our project 1. We will go one by one line and understand how manifest.json file work. The first statement of the manifest.json file, the version of this particular manifest.json file, we can say schema version. What is the schema? So manifest.json file, each version have predefined template. What I mean by the predefined template, that what all are the properties you can define in this particular version, what all are the configuration you can do in this particular version, those all defined in this particular version. Suppose if you are using the older version than this one, then there might be the cases some of the properties or some of the rules which you are defining currently, it was not available previously. Now they have added, or it might be possible they have removed the some of the fields which you used to define previously, now you are not able to define. So this plays the very important role when you create the manifest.json file. It defines what you can declare or what you can configure in your this particular version. Let's look at a SAP app section. In the SAP.app JSON object, we give the ID as a name and value as a project 1. So it basically tell what is your application ID. So if you remember from my index.html, we have given in the component, we are telling that what is the my ID of the project. So based on that, it is identified which application it needs to be loaded. And the same ID we are giving here as a project 1. So this we are telling this our application ID is a project 1. Based on this project 1 only, we are giving the same name here. So based on that, this particular component will load this particular ID project, which project is having the ID, which project is ID as a project 1, that particular application will be loaded. So, and the same second thing is a type. What kind of things you are creating in this particular thing? You are creating an application, you are just creating a component, or you're creating a library. Most of the time we use the application type where we are creating the SAP UI5 application. If you are creating some reusable component, then you have to give component. We will rarely create. And if we are creating some library, then we have to give type as a library. Third one is a I18N. Basically, we are telling here where in this particular project one folder my I18N files are present, which is helpful for the translations. So you can see in the project one folder we have I18 file in the I18 folder, and the file name is i18n.properties. You can have different files here for the different languages. If you want to have German translation, you can create the for the German translation you can create the different file. So in same way we are telling for this particular application where my i18n file is exist, which is useful for my text translation whenever my application loads. The last one in SAP.app is a application version. Whenever you create the new application, you are giving the 0.0.1. If you have a lot of minor changes you are doing, you can give the next version 0.0.2, 3 and so on. If you have some major version, you can give 0.1 point on, and you are doing some upgrade of that application, you can change the further version 1.0.1, 2.0.1, like that you can give the versioning. You have to give this manually based on what changes you are making to this particular application. So this is very helpful to identify which version we are working with based on your project naming convention and which version we should use. Let's move on to the next value pair of the SAP.app JSON object of manifest file. Next one is the title. This title here we are giving in form of the internationalization, or we can say I18N file. So we have maintained this value app title in I18N file. If you open this one, is a app title, and this will be appearing when we preview our application in the tab. Let me open, or if you bookmark your application, that time the name will be the app title. So let me preview my application. You can open Start Fiori app preview, and it will appear as a app title here as well. And inside, once it will preview the application, on top, since it's a list report piece, here also we will see the app title. Now I want to change, since this application have product and supplier, let me change the title. Instead of app title, let me change it to the product. Or here also, if you want to change the description, you can change the description also. That will be the product and description. Once you change and you will preview again your application, it will be modified here as well, but let me preview one more time. So this time, if you see here, the name will be changed products, and here also it will be changed the products, because from the I18 file, or we can say internationalization file, these values will be updated automatically, because we are using as a variable which we have maintained in the I18 file. And if you want to maintain the multiple file I18 file in different languages via copying this file, you can maintain. Suppose you have in German, product is something different name, so you can copy this file, and in German you can maintain app title, same value you have to give, and you have to give the change the product instead of the German description. It will, when you load your page in German language, it will display here in German language, here and here, both the places. So this is how we can change this title and description. Not only here, when you configure your application in Fiori Launchpad, then you can see the title and description. There also it will automatically change when whatever you maintain here in the title and description. Let's move on to the next value pair, that is called the resources, and where we are giving the resources.json file. Basically, resources is the additional resources which we want to use as part of this application, which is not available in our UI5 libraries. If you want to add some custom CSS or custom icons, even some outside library which is not available in UI5 framework, that you can add here. But you would have noticed here we have given i18 properties file and we have that one, but the resource.json file we don't have in our folder structure. Since it is optional and we are not using any additional resources as of now, so that is the reason we can't see that particular file. If you need that particular file, you can add in the web app folder and you can configure here. But most of the projects or auto generated project, either list report page or work list page, they don't have resources.json file because these don't need any additional file as of now. If you need in future, we can use the resources.json file. We can create our own file and we can configure those all the things for whatever the needed in the resources.json file. Next id value pair is the source template. Source template, we have the JSON object, we have multiple id value pair. First is the id. The source template will tell that what was the Fiori generator, or we can say what was the template you have used when you generated this particular application. You have used the Fiori list page, a work list page, or object page only, or analytical list page. You can see I have used the list report object page template, so that is the reason you can see LR for the list report and OP for the object page. So this is the template which you have used. What was the version of the template? 1.184.4. So in your case it might be different because SAP changes their template based on their requirement. They will add additional functionality and they create the newer version. So creating this particular application, we have used 1.18.4 app, which is the latest one currently. Then tools ID, this is the ID which is generated by the generator which is generating this entire application initially, and it is for the internal reference. So overall I can say source template is a kind of birth certificate of your application. If some other developer works how this particular application got generated, they can come here and they can see what was the source template is used for this particular application, and based on that they can work on this particular application. Let's move on to the next JSON object within the our SAP.app JSON object is called the data sources. If we go little bit down in this particular manifest.json, you can see that SAP.app our main JSON object got pinned above, so we can easily know that where in which object we are in currently. So we are in SAP.app and inside that we have another object that is called the data source JSON object. Inside the data sources object, we have another two objects, annotations and main service. The data sources will tell where you will get the data from. Most of the time we are getting the data from the backend OData service. So those OData service URI you will get here, which we have defined when we have created the project using the template we have given where you want to get the data from. So you can see the URI of that particular data, what kind of data it is still the OData service. And apart from the OData service, so as I can say, in the OData service we can have the annotations. If you have created that OData service using the wrap or using any CDS from the backend, and you have defined along with the CDS annotation file or UI annotation you have defined, those will be available along with the OData service. Apart from that, if you want to define your local annotations, that also you can define in the annotation.xml file. So here I am telling, apart from this OData service, there is one local annotations also, which is available in this annotation object. So further, if you go to the annotation object which is available within the data sources, that is the reason we can say these annotations are available in this annotation object. You can find the path. Here we have given the path that what kind of annotations is that. This is OData annotations, and URI they have given this is available in the main app annotation folder annotation.xml file name. And you can see again we have the setting where we are giving the local URI. The both the places in the main service also and the annotations also we have given URI and local URI. URI most of the time it is available on the web server, and local URI is available within your project. That is the copy of the main server service. So in this case, main service, if suppose you have the metadata XML file uh, which is available on the main service, we whenever we execute first time, then we will load that metadata file to the our local URI, so we can easily work offline whenever the service is not available. So this is very useful when you want to work offline, you want to do data preview without connecting to the service with the mock data. You can use the local URI. It will give the metadata, and BAS will generate the mock data for you, and you can do easily preview for using them. That is the reason local URI is important. It will get the data from server, it will store the data locally in the BAS, means metadata file. So it based on that metadata file, it can generate the mock data. Same goes with the annotations. Most of the time local annotations are available within the BAS, but sometime if you have somewhere other place, you have put your annotation file, that you can give in the URI, and local URI will be useful for the local and locally within the app, that particular where annotations are available. So in this case, since we are using the annotations, local annotations only, so both the URI and local URI is same. We are not placing anywhere on the server those local annotations, but we have OData service we are getting from the Northwind OData server. So that is the reason we have given external URI, and we have created the local URI separately via copying this data. So this is all about the data sources. So with that, we have completed first section of manifest.json. There we have that called the SAP.app, where we have given the normal configuration of our file, what is the title of our application, where is the I18 file located, how this particular project got generated, we have given in the source template. If you have the additional resources that we have defined, we have defined the data sources, where the data we are getting from. This all the information we will define in the SAP.app JSON object within the manifest.json. Now we will move on to the next one, SAP.UI. Let's move on to the next JSON object, SAP.UI, in our manifest.json file. Before moving that, we have changed, if you remember here, I8 inside the I18 file, the title and description. Title we can see here. If you want to see the description also, and you want to see the Fiori tile, you can navigate to the home and click on SAP button. So here you can see the description also got changed. And one more important thing, this will be visible only when you run your application, preview application with the start local. If you run start Fiori run with the HTML test flp.html, that time you will not see. But if you run with the start local Fiori run, that time when you go to the home page, you can see the description and the ID, or we can say title of your application, you can see here. In the similar manner, it will be visible when you configure your Fiori tile. So let's move on to the SAP UI. When you are working with the SAP.UI, this particular object, first it will tell the technology, that is the UI file, because you are creating the Fiori element application. So most of the times, or not most of the time, 100%, it will be the UI file. So whenever we are generating this kind of project in BAS, as of now SAP don't have any other technology, they are using the UI file only. Then we can give the icons. Those icons will be available either in the browser tab or in your Fiori tile. The fav icon basically available this particular browser tab, we call them fav icon, and this other icons will be available when you bookmark those application in your favorite section. Here in the browser we have the favorite section. When you bookmark here, that time you will see those kind of icons, normal icon. And if you have icon and font, suppose you want to add those application on your home screen, that time you will see those icon, whatever you can see in phone and tablet. And you have phone at the rate 2. If you have icon in higher resolution, those icon also you can add here. Those will be displayed accordingly. This is all about the icons. Then we have device type. Since our application is compatible, we have created using the Fiori element. It is compatible with the desktop, tablet and phone, everything. So that is the reason we are making sure that these all are the things are true. So this is all about the SAP.UI object. All right folks, that's where we will wrap up this part of our deep dive into the manifest.json file. We have discussed in detail SAP.app and SAP.UI section of the manifest.json file. I hope you have understood how these SAP.UI and SAP.app section work together to build our application. In my next part, we will go one more step deep and we will understand the other section SAP.UI and SAP Fiori Elements specific setting blocks in detail. As usual, before going to next part, please like this video, share these videos with others as well, subscribe this channel, it will help me a lot. With that, see you in next part.